corporately to benefit private sector companies.
Mr. Travi?
I heard it. I got the report. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Is this another furniture scandal?
It is more than just a furniture scandal, to be quite exact.
By the way, I don't know which MP it is.
Well, the report never named the report never named a MP, but we see a trend here
with inside information. So
not exactly here, not exactly inside information, but somebody who reads into things, and I look into trends and I make my judgments there.
You think it's a member of the NDM?
No. Not a member of the NDM.
Well, the NDM no.
The NDM does not have a member of parliament sitting in right. They don't have a seat in parliament at the moment.
Oh yes. And this is like a story. This sounds like a story coming out of the 1990s. Is this a current story? You sure?
It is a current story. It was released today, and like it says, a fresh report, and it referenced the one that was released earlier this month that follows the same pattern, and that's why I said I follow patterns and trends, and I make my judgments there, because one of the things my grandmother always tell you, if you walk like a duck and you quack like a duck, quite surely it's got to be a duck. And we've seen this pattern played out before. We've seen it before. Remember when the private company with regards to the 12 dialysis machines was brought about, and I went in and I did my research and I pulled up through a friend share with me a news excerpt from CVM with the same person that we are all thinking of right now. Yes, Jack the Sprat. He was the one that was announcing 12 new dialysis machines at his new place.
Jack the Sprat?
Well, listen, not to call any name, so...
No, please don't. Leave that there. So
I'm pretty sure Jack the Sprat won't come to your program to slap.
But sir, the Minister of Health, sir, he has asked for a review of the report by the board. But how this is just coming out? Was this not part of the original report?
It was not. But as they look into more and more of the actions taken by the company, they are unearthing more and more acts of corruption. That is what is happening. That is what is happening.
$31 million worth of furniture imported by the UHWA, not for the hospital, but for a member of parliament.
That is it right there. That is it. And the information states that it went straight from the wharf to the offices of this person's business. It's a pattern. It's the same pattern. If we look, it's a pattern.
But sir,
I believe it's the same location it's going.
Oh,
it's a pattern, and I believe strongly it's the same direction. And I come on this program before. I came on here and I said to you that there is tax evasion, which is illegal, and tax avoidance, and they are two different things. And this does not fall under the window of tax avoidance. This is tax evasion, because your business does not have a tax exemption status or certificate, but you use the certificate of another business to gain financially by evading taxes, and that is illegal. Where's the Integrity Commission on this? I've seen the Integrity Commission produce a report within a matter of months when they heard that 4 bedrooms were being built at 2 Wycliffe Close instead of 2 bedrooms. And it took them a month to produce a report and get it to Parliament. How long has this situation been unfolding? And no report, nothing from the Integrity Commission.
Travi, as you wrap up with me tonight, situate the politics in Jamaica for me. where you see the politics right now? How would you speak to where the politics is? There are little bits of information here, little bits of information there. Yeah. Oh my goodness, we're on the cusp of a budget debate. How do you see the politics at this point, Travi?
Stands the politics is in a state of revelation, a state of exposure. And I say this because if you calmly sit and watch what is being unfold, you would have seen the people who are just out here playing politics, and you would have seen the people who are trying their utmost best to get this country going forward. You would have seen what the many fiery darts that they have to be withstanding in the political arena. And I believe that this is a moment of transformation for the Jamaican people. And I say that because a lot of people who have a live conscience is going to be able to clearly see and differentiate what is really going on. Because there are those who say they are for accountability, transparency, and good governance. And there are those who act, work transparently, who we can count on, and whom their works, we the people, can say this is good governance. They are not out there beating their chest and saying it of themselves. They are actually carrying it out in front of our eyes. And I can speak like this, an advocate for an Andrew Holness administration, because without any influence, whether my parents or grandparents, I have sat on my own, looked through the information, look at what is going on, and I've made my judgment that people are just out here flapping their mouth. They're actually betrayers of transparency, accountability, and good governance. Because when the second allegation comes against the same person, what is it going to be? You're going to tell us to let us wait until the chips fall where they may, or are you going to take actions like you had promised? I have made my choice. Lulu, I have made my choice, and I've chosen Jamaica. I've chosen the administration and the party who has a proven track record to run on. And that's what I'm going with. Not only their track record, but when you look at their policies and their plans for the future, you cannot help but to be hopeful, optimistic, joyful, excited, beaming with pride that your country is actually on a path of going forward. I am excited where Jamaica is concerned and this government that leads it.
Well, sir, want to thank you for spending a little time with us tonight. You made a solid contribution, and I just hope that we can talk some more. But are you not concerned though, Travi, when you see all of this coming out, and because the fact of the matter is that the hospital is being overseen by a minister of government. Should be.
Yes. It is overseen by a board, right? And there's a CEO that and general management that runs the day-to-day runnings of the hospital. But it does fall under the minister's oversight, because are under his portfolio, because he is the Minister of Health, and it's a health facility issue. So his name will be called. But I am not even concerned by what is coming out. You know why? I'm actually excited for it, because it is giving us sight of the bad players. Because, if this did keep quiet, it could have gone for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. But it has come out now, which means that this is a cutoff point. where rules and regulation are going to come in now, and somebody might or might not go to jail, or somebody will be fined and will have to pay up the money that they try to escape paying. So I am not concerned by this moment. I am actually happy that there is a revelation and exposure is going on in this day at this time. That's what I said to you earlier. When you say, how do I look at the politics? I say it is time for exposure. People are being exposed in this time, and I like it.
You're a labor writer?
I guess, yes, I identify as.
Listen to this and end with it.
I want vex. I don't understand. We don't like them comments here and sit down and still watch it. If no, I couldn't want to watch this. Because I'm talking something that some of you don't want to acknowledge. The good thing is that you don't have to acknowledge it for it to have legitimacy. So hold that. Put it on a pipe and smoke it. The Prime Minister, since being sworn in after February 25, 2016, has been prime ministerial, has been a leader that you can look to as an example, an intellectual example, a man of good character, and a man who you go abroad and you are proud to say, that is my Prime Minister. And this is not to say that we're PNP Prime Minister in office who wouldn't be able to say that. We could. And I hope that we are able to. The next PNP Prime Minister comes. But for right now, the man in charge is Andrew Michael Holness. And him do good. The Holness administration has done well. No need to single out any individuals. There have been strong performers across various areas. And the Prime Minister has been prime ministerial.
He's been prime ministerial, Travi. What an endorsement coming from India.
Very true enough. Very true. Neighbor, I
do you think that George should have been so explicit as a neutral newsman?
Even in neutrality, you should be able to speak the truth.
Okay.
He didn't lie. He wasn't being partisan. He was stating the obvious. And I say that because, neighbor, I remember being in London and public transportation from bus to train, and I was wearing an outfit that it was basically a khaki suit. It was a military khaki suit that had national colors on it. And neighbor, I was like a celebrity. Just a normal individual out there in Europe, going about seeing the city, taking in the architecture, because I personally have an appreciation for ancient architecture. So I will just go out sightseeing and just take in the architecture, the design, how well laid out everything is. You understand me? So on one of those days when I was just taking in what was available, neighbor, it was a celebrity type thing. I'd be taking pictures. Where did you get that? Oh, you from Jamaica? I knew it. I see it. And it was just pure buzz and...
We lost him.
Pure excitement and buzz of Jamaica land we love. It was just pure excitement. It was beautiful. Even in other parts of the world, Jamaica is so and I tell you, I was watching the diaspora conference just now. The buzz, the joy, I wish everybody could see it, could feel it, and would get on board working and brand Jamaica.
But I've never heard this type of endorsement on media. I've never heard this so explicitly stated by a journalist.
Because it goes back to what you asked earlier.
Why did he do that? Why did George? Can you help me?
Because he's stating the obvious.
Is it that honest is so good?
He's being honest. He's being honest in his commentary and making it clear. Because neighbor, it is so sad that is only foreign people and foreign media and foreign journalists is allowed to speak the truth where Mr. Knowles is concerned. It is sad. Very sad. The foreign media, the foreign journalists, they hold no reservations and they say it. They give him his flowers. Why can't we, as the localized Jamaicans, give him his credit?
Yes, but a media man of George's reputation, to be so explicit, so forceful, so supportive.
Yes, and
No
he says,
concern?
and he did state that if it was a PNP, and he hopes that it can be the same for the next PNP prime minister when the times come, when the time
Yes,
comes.
but can I tell you, sir,
I
that
hope so too.
You hope so? I'm gonna ask you just to hold for me. I don't move. Grab a little water and I'll come right back. Hold on. Give me a little more of your time. I'm coming right back.
As a young Minister of Education, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding handed me the challenge of managing the implementation of the no tuition fee policy. We made a commitment that if we won the elections, there would be no tuition fees. You remember that? And we kept the promise. We refunded the fees to the parents who had paid because it was important to build trust. We gave the schools over $1 billion, representing the other half of the fees that they would have gotten from tuition from parents. And we maintained that, increasing that figure every year. No schools were closed because we ended the tuition policy. You name me one school that was closed. And as a result of the no tuition policy, we increased access to secondary education by 10%.
I want my listeners to listen to George Davis.
About Mr. Patterson's time in office. He's a cricket man. He loves the cricket analogies. So his time at the wicket. Last week at the summit, he held court as he sought to set the record straight, defending his time in office. And if you weren't here, you would have been led to believe that one of the most successful premierships in Jamaica's political history was underplayed, was overlooked, was vilified in some respects by members of the media, by people who comment today on public affairs. And you'd be left wondering, how come this great man and his premiership were not given the regard, certainly, which he gave to it in that speech at the summit? The great thing is, I'm speaking this morning based on what I know is the composition of the nationwide audience. I'm speaking largely to people who were here and who know that what Mr. Percival said to us last week, in the words of, well, one of the favorite words of one of the men who served his cabinet, Keith Desmond Knight, what we heard at the summit was balderdash. The facts don't support the narrative that Mr. Patterson spun. And the thing with Mr. Patterson's premiership is that, you know, I like to quote my favorite rapper in these instances, you know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Even though men and women lie with numbers. And what he sought to communicate is vastly different from the reality of those 14 years. Now, there's so much to go into where Patterson and his 14 years are concerned, or were concerned. Mr. Percival's brand of leadership, in many respects, there are good things to take from it. The way he handled certain ministers. In my view, the highlight of Mr. Percival's 14 years was the liberalization of the telecom sector by one Philip Paulwell. And those close to the action say, well, that was more Paulwell's doing than Mr. Percival. So you should give Paulwell all the credit. Acknowledge that Mr. Percival was the prime minister at the time, but it really was Paulwell's work. And we all know that Philip Powell wrung every bit of goodwill out of that liberalization of the telecom sector towel, to the extent that for the many other things that he got up to, there was barely enough of the goodwill left to tide him over. Mr. Percival said, look, when the bad times came, it's youthful exuberance. That was him being grateful to what Powell had done for his administration. But that was a highlight for me. And that was hugely significant, is hugely significant in the history. But it's not Mr. Percival's work. It's Philip Powell's work. I'll tell you what Mr. Percival's work really is. Before that, he said something in 2003 that I think is at the heart of the problem Mr. Percival is facing at this time. And as I listened to him some weeks ago talking about the country on his watch and how good it was, and the backlash that he received, sufficient for them to organize another function for him to set the record straight, I said to myself, you are right in believing what you believed about the problem Mr. Percival has. And here's the problem. 2003, September, the PNP's 65th annual conference. Mr. Percival made a speech, parts of it which will go down in the history of the politics in this country. And in that speech was transmitted the real problem Mr. Percival had then and still has now. Here's what he said. Every leader has a different style, and my style is this style, he told conference in 2003. I am a humble man, and I will always be to my dying day. Blood runs through my veins like everybody else's, but I know that I have never got the respect where respect is due for the things that I have done. He said, I have built more highways than anybody else. I have done more to reduce poverty than everybody else. More people have running water. More people stop use kerosene. More people have electricity. More people have telephone. And more men have gal than at any time else, said our Prime Minister in 2003. So part of his legacy as he wound down his premiership was that under his leadership, more men in Jamaica have gal. Yeah? That didn't go down well at the time.
Oh gosh.
It is funny now rather than being crass. But that was Mr. Percival speaking. It wasn't the girl aspect. Well, we were caught up in that at the time. I remember the country was. But the more significant point Mr. Percival was making was that he didn't feel as if he had the respect he certainly thinks he deserves. And that's the problem. Mr. Percival has long been jealous of the adoration and adulation that the comrades give to Joshua. The love of Michael Manley and for Michael Manley and justified Michael Manley is one of the great Jamaicans. Yes, I never said perfect. Great Jamaicans, there is no doubt about that. Percival James Patterson wants to be like that. In fact, if you listen to the PNP bigwigs speak, especially during campaign time when they're doing their set piece presentations, it's almost obligatory to have a quote or three from Joshua in your speech. It's not complete without it. Nobody quotes PJ Patterson. Nobody quotes PJ Patterson. The comrades don't. And so I find it curious that the respect that not even the comrades have for you, Mr. Percival, you want the Jamaican public to then accord you that. On what basis, I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Your tenure, your premiership was such that you are barely mentioned. Mrs. Simpson Miller gets adoration and adulation. She gets copious amounts of it.
Oh gosh.
You, on the other hand, longest serving, won more elections than anybody else, and done all the great things you say you did, and yet still you fall short of the adulation and adoration measures, which is why it's so curious that a PNP hierarchy that quite rightly avoids mentioning the Patterson years, avoids mentioning what Mr. Percival did at the wicket, now brings him back to boost its election campaign. So apart from feeling unappreciated and being unappreciated within the walls of his own party. Mr. Percival is now appealing to Jamaica to give him the love that not even comrades are giving him. I'll tell you how we remember you, Mr. Percival. And there are so many numbers to use. You will be remembered as the Prime Minister who heaped more debt on the back of every Jamaican man, woman, and child than every Prime Minister before you and every Prime Minister since. You will be remembered as the man who, when 1992 ran its course and that year finished, the public debt was about $60 billion. By November 2005, 4 months before you left office, Mr. Percival, that 60 billion debt that you left us, that you started with in 1992, had swollen to 830 billion by November 2005. That's how we will remember you, Mr. Percival, as the debt Prime Minister. We'll also remember you, Mr. Percival, as the murder Prime Minister. Because it was on your watch that we hit murders 1,000 for the year for the first time and sustained it. 1992, 629 murders. 93, 654 murders. 94, 690. 95, 780. 96, 925. 97 for the first time ever. 1,038 for good measure. 98, 953. 99, 849. 2,887. 2001, 1,139. 2002, 1,045. 2003, 976. 2004, 1,471. And as a last lick, Mr. Percival, in 2005, your last full year, 1,674. So in the time you were at the wicket, Mr. Percival, 13,710 Jamaicans murdered in their own country. Private security exploded because everybody are grilled up and try to keep possession and limbs and lives safe. On your watch, the record will show more Jamaicans lost their lives to the gun and to murder on your watch than everybody else. That's how we will remember you. And so I say, Mr. Percival, I didn't even have to touch FinSac to prove that you have no moral authority to enter any argument about how this country is run. And in tandem with your former finance minister, the two of you together remind me of Dick Dastardly and Motley from Wacky Racers. You did to this country what Phillips and Simpson Miller, Holness and Shaw, Holness and Clark, and now Holness and Favel Williams are trying to correct. I say to you, Mr. Percival, you talk about you missed the days when you would put on your gown and go to court. Put on your nightgown and go to bed. I might kick over your chamber pot on the way.
Oh God.
Well, that was Mr. Patterson. Coming right back to your list now. We're wrapping up shortly.
Now that she's gone out of my life, who's gonna make me feel the way she used to do? Yeah. Now that
I want vex. I don't understand. We don't like them comments here and still watch it. If it was I couldn't want to watch this. Because I'm talking something that some of you don't want to acknowledge. The good thing is that you don't have to acknowledge it for it to have legitimacy. So hold that. Put it on a pipe and smoke it. The Prime Minister, since being sworn in after February 25, 2016, has been prime ministerial, has been a leader that you can look to as an example, an intellectual example, a man of good character, and a man who you go abroad and you are proud to say, that is my Prime Minister. And this is not to say that we're PNP Prime Minister in office who wouldn't be able to say that. We could. And I hope that we are able to. The next PNP Prime Minister comes. But for right now, the man in charge is Andrew Michael Holness. And him do good. The Holness administration has done well. No need to single out any individuals. There have been strong performers across various areas. And the Prime Minister has been prime ministerial. I want vex, I don't understand. I don't like them comments here and still watch it. It knows I couldn't want to watch this. Because I'm talking something that some of you don't want to acknowledge.
Said I'm a prisoner of loneliness.
Trav, you're on with us tonight, so you're going to wrap this up. Travi, the reason why I played that all 12 minutes is that this is the same journalist. Travi?
I'm listening quite attentively.
Truth is truth. What I played that is because one cannot accuse him of not speaking his mind, Travi. He did speak his mind, and it's factual. Yeah?
I'll say this to you, neighbor.
Yes.
My good friend, the late, great Wilmot Mutty Perkins would have been proud.
Would have been proud of George.
Would have been proud. Yes.
Wow.
I firmly believe that.
Yeah, okay.
The analysis was surgical. That analysis of Mr. Patterson's setting the record straight presentation was surgical. Factual. We can't go around it. And you know what he did? He said the quiet thing out loud. Because it is true. PNP members and spokespersons does not quote Mr. Patterson or his era when on the political platform. They shy away from any discussions concerning him. And he rightfully received backlash from the Jamaican people when he come out to try and to tell us which way this country was going. And the second was met with even greater pushback. So much so that he never did a third. Because he announced a three-part special and only did two. Because they realized the Jamaican people does not want to hear anything from him. And I am glad Jamaica have matured that much where fanfare and this celebrity type thing is not what our politics is made of. Our politics is made of policies, substance, and truth.
Well, sir, have a fantastic night. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. Take care.
Thank you for having me, neighbor. You have a good one.
Presser, big up yourself, Presser. By the way, listeners, we catch you on Sunday. Catch you on Sunday, just after 6 o'clock. Moderator Caroline, good night to you, ma'am. Hi.
Hi, neighbor. I'm still waiting for a response.
I see you get excited when you, you know you're a real neighbor, right? I see you get excited when you play that. What is the response?
Never mind.
Don't put me on the spot, please. Please, I beg you. Okay. About neutrality. I don't take those positions, you know. I when I started this program here, I explained to my listeners that you mustn't put commentators in positions of balance, because balance me no scale, so me no balance. I'm not a scale, so I'm not balanced, because when you talk about balance, you're talking about saying something for one side and saying something for the other side. So you equilibrium. Yeah. I'm not into that. I'm not a journalist. I don't even know who I am, but I'm not a journalist. I don't have nothing about balance. And then when people talk about bias, that requires another 20 minutes to explain, because to say something that is truthful is not bias. If I say that murders are down in Jamaica by 43%, there's no bias there. Okay? If I say that there is a new road from Old Harbor to Williamsfield that takes you there in 20 minutes, that is a fact. There's no bias there. And so people who talk about bias, they have a political axe to grind. I don't. What I'm interested in is providing facts to the Jamaican people. And the Jamaican people can determine what they do with those facts. So balance, I've explained. Bias, I've explained. What is the other one?
Neutral.
Neutral. Okay. Now, when you're neutral, you ain't gonna way, you know. You may move down a hill in neutral, but you can't go up the hill in a neutral. You can't be neutral. You have to take a side. Okay. No neutral people don't about neutral people don't go nowhere in the Bob. If that is neutral mean you neither going forward or backward. You turn up one place. And that is not a position that I encourage. You have to take a side. Let me come back to that and wrap this program. You can't be neutral. You're either going to serve God or the devil. But you're not somewhere in between there. You're not in between, I can tell you that. And if you're not a Labourite, you are a comrade. There's no neutrality there. Because when you go to the ballot, there is nothing on that piece of paper that says, mark your X up there so beside the PNP and you cross it down there so beside the JLP. It's a spoiled ballot that. You either have to mark it pan the bell or pan the head. There is no neutrality when it comes on to politics. You either a Labourite or you is a PNP. And I can tell you this, I am not a PNP.
Now I'm a prisoner of loneliness.
Does that answer your question now?
Well, on that note, neighbor, I thank you for that. And I'm going to ask the listeners to donate to Zelle and Cash App.
You're the consummate businesswoman.
Well, listeners,
hold on. When you go to the bank, if you ever mark your X pan the PNP and pan the Labour Party, that ballot is spoiled. You either have to take a side. You have to take a side. Okay? And I have not taken the PNP side. I can tell you that. As a matter of fact, I don't know why would I choose the PNP at a time like this in Jamaica, to be very, very honest with you. I mean, and that's not me suggesting that I'm not undemocratic. But my position is that the current administration is the best for the country. There's no question about that. That is my position. And I can state that publicly, and I can say that even at church.
Won't you please don't?
And that don't mean that I need to join the Labour Party, but my position is that the country Jamaica comes before any political political party. And there is nothing happening in Jamaica today that could get me to support the People's National Party and their policies. I don't agree with them.
Listen, darling.
And you want to call me a Labourite, to call me a Labourite, that is your trouble. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. As Barbara Gludan said, minyama me yard. Minyama me one yard.
He's gone out of my life.
Neighbor, on that note, I'm going to ask.
If you want something, minyama, me come over to your yard. That's all.
Well, neighbor, please allow me to ask the listeners. I think listeners, neighbor deserve a lion for that. Could someone please send neighbor a lion, please?
A neighbor, it's happy. Big up yourself.
I'm all alone in the wilderness.
Good girl Diane to play the song. Oh.
Searching to find some peace and rest.
Gracious, speak up. Thank you so much. I'm signing out now. Okay, bye-bye. Andre, hi, how are you doing, Andre? Let me just go very quickly because I think it is important. You don't need balance. You don't need balance. People who talk about balance are foolishness I'm talk about. You can be a commentator and you talk about balance. Okay? I'm not a news reporter. I don't report news. I do commentary. You don't go for you have an opinion. We take a position, we have an opinion. Okay? We're not a scale, we're no balance. Right? When you talk about balance, you are saying, well, what is that? Bias is to speak the truth. What you need to do is to tell us what we have said that is not true. If we are telling lies, yes, then we are propagandists. We haven't said anything to true that is untrue. So, for example, when George Davis said this, right, is George Davis being biased or is he speaking the truth? Is this bias?
The good thing is that you don't have to acknowledge it for it to have legitimacy. So hold that, put it on a pipe and smoke it. The Prime Minister, since being sworn in after February 25, 2016, has been prime ministerial, has been a leader that you can look to as an example and to say, that is my Prime Minister. And this is not to say.
So then, is that lie? Is it a lie? The Prime Minister is in St. Kitts. Is it a lie? You can't accuse the man of being biased if he says it says something is the truth. So what he's to do now, to balance it out, he must find something good to say about Mark Golding. That's rubbish. Okay? There is no neutral position in politics. You either have to vote for one or the other. You make a choice. Okay? And your choice is your democratic right. But he can't take that from you. So, listeners, have a great weekend. Okay, Caroline, have a great weekend.
To neighbor, thank you much.
Uh-huh.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We see you all again on Sunday at 4 p.m.
6 o'clock.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. Sorry, I see you all at 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Fantastic.